mistakes for Astralis when they failed to make it to Paris, getting eliminated back in the RMRs. That's when changes were afoot, and now we've seen the restructuring of this squad. So two teams in very different positions.
Yeah, and for Astralis, the results have actually looked really, really good recently. So let's see if they can step up to the plate and take on some of the big boys in Group B. It won't be an easy road to the playoffs of Cologne. Fast out into the A site. It's a donut split, but Mainz getting taken back, and G2 have so many players and so much control. They will just swipe the ball clean of Astralis. 2-on-4, Stairs lost in the smoke, and Blame goes back to maybe an empty B bomb site. Nico's keeping an eye on it, though, and he's got support, so this should just be dead in the water.
Yeah, look at it, man. G2 are just swarming here. Sure, might have had a chance on that first guy, but you weren't going to go any further than that. So the pistol round is found dominantly out of G2, and it's Hunter to do the bulk of the heavy lifting on that push up towards main.
And, you know, you say G2 don't make changes. Let's talk about Astralis's, because they weren't necessarily the changes we expected. Maybe, you know, not even the ones we wanted completely. Sure, everyone was touting Stair as the next big thing from Denmark. 19 years of age, relative inexperience, but showed some great face on Sprout. I think Borup was the surprise for everyone, but back at Blast, he proved to be a real consistent piece of the puzzle. The cutting of Glaive, you know, meaning finally all of the old guard except Device from Astralis is gone. But Blame also stepping up pretty aptly to the in-game leading role and putting up numbers while he did it. I think there's a lot of reasons to get behind this Astralis team right now.
Yeah, a big part of it as well, like, because, you know, we kind of gloss over it when you're talking changes, is the one on change man in Device. He's been fantastic since his return. Hello, JKS was on for the ace right there, but he won't quite get it, will he? So Hunter moves in and puts a stop to it still. Nice round for JKS, well contained. The Glocks don't really get much done, as you would expect, but now the buy round's coming through for Astralis. Yeah, I think playing in that previous iteration of the squad, there was kind of I kind of felt bad for Device at times. It felt like he had to do a hell of a lot. It felt like he was kind of having to do a bit of everything to try and make that team work. But I will say, part of me wonders, has that made him even more deadly now, right? He's someone who we already know is an incredibly consistent player, can reach these insane heights, can really do it all. And I think being in that previous iteration of Astralis probably gave him more appreciation for just what he's capable of, right? There were moments back at the RMRs where it felt like it was him versus 9. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's been a treat. Now that there's this supporting cast around him, let's get into this first rifle round. Out into mid for Borup. He's fed to the Wolves. A triple set up there to open for G2. They had every intent to fight for this mid control. They're going to keep pushing the issue. They will feed one to Blame F, but it's punished, it's returned, and we end up back in this 3-on-3 with the way in for Astralis appearing over here towards B.
Oh, yeah, they just had to go there into the B bomb site. It's all they had. Hooksy, good to even get a 1-for-1 there as he flashes himself back out cave. JKS is very close, but he doesn't want to play active. He's all alone. Device just walks backwards in. They thought no one would possibly go through that CT smoke, and it's left Buzz in the clutch. 1v2. JKS making moves, but also needs to be patient because Nico is on a long rotation round. He can start running now. The plant's been heard. Buzz given nothing in this clutch, and the more time he wastes, the closer G2 get ready to trade this kill out. JKS can swing as soon as Nico finds that contact, and it's not even needed. Nico closes it, and G2 find 3-0. Very strong start. Nice call on the mid take as well. You know, on Ancient CT side, you're going to be making a lot of different starts of your rounds, right? Sometimes you will be starting heavy mid with good util. Here, G2 have 3 players. Sometimes you want to be aware of the B rush. You want to be taking A main. You can't cover everything. And so G2 make the perfect call to stop Astralis from taking those mid spawns.
Back to the drawing board early for the Astralis squad. Down to these pistols now. They like the success they were able to get away with over here towards B, and they want to try and replicate that here, but they will get challenged along the way. Hooksy out from Cave, and Nico hears those tags as the spam comes in through short from Hunter. They'll combine for a kill. Hooksy out on an island here. Does go down as he's faced by 3 Astralis players, but he gets out with a 2-for-1 and keeps this nice advantage for G2 ticking over. should just be the cleanup here, and Hunter's going to do exactly that. So it's a very oppressive game plan to open up from G2, right? One thing you will have already noted here is think about the pistol. They're pushing A main. They're trying to take the extremities. Then they kind of dictate the fights over in middle in that first rifle round, knowing that the force was going to come through, anticipating a bit of a B hit, something that's very, very fruitful when you only have pistols and a handful of util. So they swarm it through cave. They're fighting down the ramp. They've got reinforcements padding out the back of B. Right now, they've had a good read on the first few rounds of this game, and so the onus is going to be put on Astralis to try and break the flow of that early.
Yeah, they go for a default here, though, so just 1-1-3, and aware of this B take, they play very slow out of the gates, not even moving through those doors. JKS pushed all the way through main, but he will be flashed off. Buzz didn't full check it, and JKS gets away with the goods. He will escape too. G2 pressure relieved, even though m0NESY misses his shot. They will lose Nico over at B in the meantime. That is a little awkward. And so Astralis might just have to, again, go with what they've got. The smokes towards the B bomb site. Blame lurking A main, gives them a get-out clause. Let's see if Astralis take it. This is far from a commitment.
Oh, it's a little awkward at top ramp. Hunter wasn't quite ready for it. Stair's going to spam him out in reply. They're still battling up the ramp side here. That bomb's going to be retrieved by Stair as well, and this is where we have to see where they want to go with it. Yeah, they're taking it back, and that's because of Blame F. As you highlighted earlier on, he left that back door open to get a little tricky with it in the mid-round, and now he's very, very deep. When it goes quiet like this, you're expecting that they've got room somewhere else on the map. But even though JKS had an inkling, it wasn't enough to give him an edge in that fight, and now we get to this 1v2 for m0NESY. Does have a kit. It's just the sheer lack of info here that's scary, right? Every one of these angles could be harboring an aggro Blame F who pushed all the way through A. And so the big question for m0NESY now is, can he find even just a shred of information to play this 1v2 out? He's going to go in. Gets given a fight from up on top of the boost, but that tag brings him down even lower, and I think that should just seal the deal on the round. m0NESY brought to his knees by Stair, who goes on a tear in that round there, doesn't he, right? Starts it with the wall bang over towards B. He's then the guy to go back and retrieve the bomb, helps, you know, rejoin with Blame F and make that whole play happen.
Yeah, this is a classic Blame F round, and it's something you know, G2 realized as soon as they over-rotated, they probably won't do that again. We saw this in old Astralis, you know, before Blame was calling on Ancient, when he'd often be a guy walking solo up B while they go for A execute, something Astralis did a lot when they first started playing this map, but it never felt like Astralis had that entry power, right? Too many academy players, Glaive with a, you know, down tread of consistency, but now we have so much more firepower, it does free up Blame to make more of these lurky plays. I love that call out the gate for Astralis, even just to have that wallbang supplementing the B hit. Makes life very uncomfortable for G2. And Astralis, they think they've got the world right here, but Hunter's got his eyes on it, and he's even calling for some help. 2 CTs moving in to stop this. If you got to go now before that smoke blooms, but Buzz keeps them contained. Even though Astralis do want to hit the B bomb site, they're trying to make it seem like they're not.
It's not a good smoke, though, and that's a little problematic. It doesn't draw as much pressure as you would have liked if that smoke over towards red landed properly. Hunter still plays ahead of it, and so he knows that they're not aggroing through red right now. That's going to free him up to move back over towards B, and the timing might be perfect on this because he's going to need to deliver. He finds himself in the right place. There's one from Hunter, but end of the line, Borup knocks him down, and so Astralis, it's very composed. They kind of fake it out with that attempt to get out through red, draw a bit of attention away, and then they nailed the entries up through ramp.
Yeah, shame for G2, who knew exactly what was going on. They show it with a very aggressive A main push from JKS. They have the read of Astralis trying to end B there. You know, Device being on the AWP on the boost sort of gives it away as well, but this goes back to what I was talking about with some of this entry capability. One thing that's cool in the, you know, 16 or so maps we've seen from Astralis is the, you know, entries on T sides are pretty split even when you look at the numbers. Like in terms of attempts, everyone's kind of getting involved for the most part, other than Stair. And what's really cool is we're seeing Buzz look more comfortable in this team as well, even though he was more of just a fake player up mid in this round. In the academy team, this guy was, you know, such a monster at in his previous teams, as in Masonic, he was such a monster at getting opening kills. And when we saw him first in this roster, he was always second in behind Glaive. It never felt like he was as comfortable. But back at Blast, we saw a great resurgence from Buzz in going for those openers. So I'm excited to see Astralis on this map. They've clearly been making it a mainstay of their map pool. G2 now broken, left to just 2 rifles.
Yeah, you can still do damage in this round, right? They're going to try and give JKS a bit of room, for example, here. Same with Monacy. You're going to keep setting up these rifle players to be that first point of contact. Anything they can do to steal an advantage in the round, you know, to arm one of these pistol players, it's great. And if they're the ones making contact first and then they fall, you know, the gun gets juggled around and there's still ways to find impact in this for G2. But Astralis, they're expecting gimmicks, right? They're expecting trickery like this. So they're taking it pretty low and slow, using this util and a couple of nice boosts to clear out the cave, playing it safe. G2 are full grouped over here in middle. They want to make some moves, and JKS opens the round. They know the location of the M4. The AWP was last spotted over towards B.
Oh dear.
Right now, both Monacy and JKS have taken up position over towards the lane, and that's another kill for these hero guns. Oh, but it's swiftly returned back the other way. JKS, the last one of the hero weapons standing. He'll put it to good use. He's done a lot of damage on this flank up through middle. How much can the pistols be expected to get away with? That dink is nice. A bit more damage downrange means that G2 can give this 2v2 a look in.
They've not got a kit, though. That's the big problem. And once Device clears out this flank, he can try and cover the cross onto Borup. He has his back turned. Borup must swing, and he shuts it down, thank goodness, with a double spray. That was so awkward. Device is back completely open, and he did not seem aware. Thought he was going to move in to try and crossfire with Borup. Saved by the bell, Astralis. That was meant to be a lot cleaner of a round, but given how competitive G2 make it with that late mid re-aggression, the climb up, what a shot for Borup. You'll take it if you're Astralis. G2 can rebuy, but they won't have the AWP in this one.
Yeah, that's one of those rounds, you know, you leave it feeling, it's like bittersweet. First here, he's done it all.
Are you saying you taught him everything he knows?
No, not quite.
Chad, maybe. Chad will be very happy to see this. He's been drilling him.
But yeah, we played a lot of Ancients, and so he's comfortable doing everything. Oh, Buzz dead over in middle. JKS fighting alongside him. Full blind to the flashbang, and that's when Blame F goes out swinging. Going to keep the mid-fight in favor of Astralis, and they've done well to repel that. That was kind of what uprooted the early game for Astralis. Borup nails the entry in towards B, and it feels like Astralis do kind of want to exploit the fact that HooXi finds himself over towards this B side of the map. Whenever you're seeing these mid-takes, usually that means that HooXi's been left there with limited resources, limited players who can rotate in quickly, and so the reaction is really nice from Astralis when they see that mid-fight coming in.
Borup's looking crisp today. That one tap in the previous round, then a very nice check on that pixel gap to HooXi. So Astralis, they get their 4v3 reset into B, and they force G2's hand to save yet again. Looking like quite a threat on this map of Ancient. And I mean, Cologne is synonymous with Astralis, even if, you know, they don't have the trophies in the cabinet. It kind of shocks you to think about how, despite the amount of roster changes Astralis have gone on since the era, you know, in the last 4 times we've been in the Lanxess, Astralis have made it to the semi-finals. Last year, they were there with Blame. You know, they made it back in 2021 when we reopened the doors. They were there in 18 and 19, of course, all in the semi-finals, making runs. And that's across, you know, many different iterations of Astralis, with Blame, with and without Device, of course with Glaive Zip, Dupree and Magisk all the way back in the day. And so I think if there were any tournament that Astralis were waking up in the right time for, it would be Cologne. Good spray from Hunter through the mid-smoke, though. It started G2 off on the right foot. They've cleared out all of B. They know it's coming. JKS, what can you do?
Gonna have to offer something up from up top the boost, but he's run down straight away. So now all the pressure is on Hunter with this M4 in behind the site. They're moving up close. They're right next to him, and Stair's gonna find that entry that really should just safeguard the round here.
Yeah, now you're already looking at saving. I mean, ooh, HooXi, that's a great spam. Found the kill. Could have beckoned you in, but no armor, no kit. Nico can afford to die here, but the others should be looking for playing the long game right now. Astralis with what seems like an unlosable position. They try and bait the peak. But Device still hits a shot on the rifle that crouches in, and NiKo is sort of locked in tempo right now. Device knows he has him, and we all know how big this bomb is on Ancient. It will get you no matter where you hide. Someone's got to call it first. Device doesn't want to, but NiKo should just be fine in this corner here. Just about.
Yeah, this is very well done for Astralis. You know, they got given their first way into this game, and since that point, they've not let their foot off the gas. This is scary considering how it started. You can really feel how the kind of ebb and flow of this game has changed. Early on, G2 had some good reads. The aggression was well-founded. It was shutting down some of the early Astralis game plans. They kind of had the foresight in that first rifle round to go take mid. Then we have them up against the Force in round number 4, where they pressure lane. They shut down that attempt at the B play with Tech9s. Since that point, everything's come up Astralis, so they did really regained control over this map.
Again.
Spam through mid for Hunter. He's good at it. Ooh, another one out of Hunter. He knows his lineups through this smoke. A scary place to find yourself. No one from G2 has even seen an opponent in this round, and 2.5 players are dead. Finally, m0NESY and Device lock eyes and lock horns over towards ramp, and it's m0NESY to come out ahead.
Yeah, m0NESY's not going to have any fear about taking this, peek onto the B boost, where many AWPers will perch. And so this is actually a head-to-head, while a lot of games you don't necessarily get the AWPers clashing that much. I think you will in this matchup, as long as whoever's on the CT side, in this case m0NESY, to go for that fight. 2-on-5 now, and I mean G2 would just have to make a massive error to even give Astralis a way in. Buzz is trying to walk up the ramp. That's a miss smoke for NiKo, trying to bounce it. So it lands on ramp. But it's not really a worry for Astralis. Flash in, NiKo takes a look over it. Buzz getting closer, and G2 ready to swing on short as well.
Yeah, JKS and Hunter have stopped waiting around over towards Donuts, so they're even coming in on the flank here. Even though there's real estate being gained up ramp, you've still got to battle your way into this.
Ooh.
Buzz will at least gain control of the site. This is where the flank through cave and up ramp looks to come in and save the day for G2. 2 bullets left in the gun. It was never meant to be for Buzz, so he will just get swarmed. That timing on the mid-rotate proves to be very important for G2, right? Yeah. The entries actually did come in up through the ramp side. So you count your lucky stars that JKS and Hunter started making moves when they did, and a lot of that is facilitated by the fact that you still had these G2 players in the B site taking these little jiggles over towards ramp, just confirming that, yeah, they are going to follow through with this.
Yeah, back-to-back rounds. Blamef gets spammed through the mid-smoke by Hunter, so let's see how Astralis are going to adapt to that, move away from middle. G2. Even scoreline now as we get into another crucial gun round. Money on the line for both teams. Astralis again delay out middle. They get their nades in. NiKo trapped between Molotovs makes it look easy. He's burning alive right now. He's sat in the flames, but he can only take 1. Borup down to 4, however. It's a damn good start for NiKo. We might once again have this AWP head-to-head. m0NESY calls it off. There was a little gap over that smoke. Device won't fight it.
Yeah, when you throw the smoke in like that down ramp, you know that there's going to be a gap on it somewhere. So m0NESY's just kind of using this to check a little deeper down the lane, make sure no one else is here. Now that he's got that info, he's not only retrieved this smoke, or he will be able to from the bottom of ramp, to keep that smoked off and just deny the lane control, but it's more important as to what it does to the rest of his team, right? When you've got this much real estate over towards B, when you know that no one was lane, it's allowed for a much heavier presence over here towards A. HooXi still floating around middle, sure, but he's going to be in that A site the moment he's needed. And now that the util's coming in, there's some counter util back from G2 to kind of throw the timings off of this. Astralis have to wait this molly out, so they're going to keep replenishing util, but here's the push.
Yeah, JKS anti-flash, but the second one gets him as they come swinging. Great entry for Borup again. 3-on-2. Astralis have the sight, but as you said, those timings are aloof. Those smokes are fading quickly, and nades are being pulled. HooXi not seen getting into the corner, and Buzz takes a step too far. Blame has him trapped, but flashed out. HooXi looks for a second, and Device is now in the clutch up against the kid.
Yeah, the go v the kid. This is a big one. Device on the line, AWP in hand. m0NESY, oh, little jump check. Device knows he's been spotted, going to try and reposition a play around the bomb. knows he can win this without ever even fighting m0NESY. m0NESY's the one feeling all the pressure in this clutch. Tap on the bomb, Device will swing it, and m0NESY nails the shot, perfectly played in the 1v1, did exactly what he had to do. Great awareness from him there, taps on it, forces a bit of an engagement, forces the check out of Device. He at least has to pay the respect that that could have been the stick, and that gives him the fight that wins the round for
He just makes every clutch look so easy, and it's even just the micro details that you pointed out. That little jump check behind the box, he's almost impossible to hit, but he gets info, and that's what forces Device into a very uncomfortable post-plant position. That'd be a lot better if he wasn't against an AWP, but m0NESY can just tap and take one step too far. What a perfect clutch. G2 needed that. High impact for HooXi as well, coming in from CT with 2 kills. And that's for a player who's been having a bit of poor form lately. But G2 have definitely come to play today, and we haven't even really seen the activation of NiKo. Not yet. Oh, HooXi back for more. Wallbang stare. And that's a bit of vengeance, because NiKo got tagged up on default earlier by the aforementioned man.
Yeah, I mean, Stairs had multiple kills from these wallbangs, right? So it feels good to get one back over him.
Easy shot for m0NESY. That flash does nothing. 5-on-3, and m0NESY re-aggressive.
I like this move, you know, it looks kind of crazy because you're thinking they're up 5v3, but he wants to remain mobile on this AWP, right? He wants to keep them guessing, and by taking this real estate, he holds a very serious sightline once again over towards the lane. They've kind of been using m0NESY as an area denial weapon, right? He just kind of takes these lines, takes this space, and safeguards the fact that it can't be the B play. And so once more, G2 have got a lot of resources leaning over towards mid, leaning over towards Donut. They are more than ready for this A play.
The HooXi is loose today.
He's playing very well. He's got a lot of swing kills in these rounds, man. He's had openers. He's had these moments like in the last round, for example, where he's coming up through CT. He gets that double kill that opens up the door to the 2v3 retake.
He's not been a liability on B. He's often gone 1-for-1 at worst case, which is fine. We've seen him on MP9s, you know, B AKs, so decent rounds out of HooXi right now. You can't be saying anything against it. 7-5. As the Dane screens down his compatriots. Got pistols now for Astralis, finally broken near the end of the half. Device on a lower boost to offset the angle, but NiKo is getting flashed in. I mean, if NiKo starts to get activated now, the quietest player in the server, it might be over for Astralis before you know it. HooXi in trouble, 2 health, just trying to stay away from the wallbangs. I would get out of here, bud. Nice help for Hunter. Seen more, well, not seen anything. Killed more players through smokes than he has visually. Blame will catch JKS in red. And that opens up middle.
Frustrating death as well, right? Because you're just trying to jiggle mid. Like, we kind of talked at great length so far about how G2 are going on these little info gathering missions on this CT side. JKS isn't really looking to like have an engagement there, right? He's just trying to spot if they're moving out into middle from heaven, and he gets 1-degged out of the round by Blame F. And so suddenly, you know, now you're paranoid about middle. Now that area of the map goes dark. That's why we see G2 having to pull players over towards this, leaving the B site hold entirely on the back of one man. So it's a retake B setup here for G2.
Oh, that, if anything, sells a bit of a fake. Buzz falling off there, but NiKo spotted something up B, and we said it was time for him to get activated. This could be that round. Peeked from the site. He's going to be helped out by Hunter as Blame is left in a clutch with a deagle, finishing what he started. Couple of low players. Blame takes a couple more shots, but Hunter is here to save the day with 4 kills on the anti-eco. Ooh, not nervous at all as Blame puts on a show.
You like it when the deagle hits like that. You like it when the deagle's hitting like that. I don't know, when you get 3 kills deep and you're on your way to some crazy round, it's hard to put a stop to someone when they're in that flow state, when the hands are hot. Hunter, though, he is feeling it in this game, and he just remedies it by taking a straight-up gunfight. Succeeds where everyone else had failed in dealing with that Blame F deagle.
Someone's getting screamy down there on the other side. Good energy today as we open the group stages for Cologne. A lot of teams we've been waiting to see. And a lot of teams who have earned their spots. In Fnatic just previously, and 9 right now taking on ends. Sees that Molly down ramp, responds just to stall it out. Make sure G2 can't push, but they still look very keen to do so. Nico getting supported by m0NESY. You'll see this combo a lot. He'll bounce a flash off the box if Nico wants to go all the way down, but Astralis is using everything they've got to keep this control, or at least deny it for G2. They are stubborn, ever present. Bomb is out mid right now. Buzz is looking for an A pick, and G2 are trying to force these fights. That's a huge entry for Buzz with a flash. I meant through, and it offers great results. Hunter has the world on his shoulders, and Device has plucked him apart.
Plant's going to come in. m0NESY's here as the first man on the scene, the first responder, but everyone else is a long way away. He's going to get re-smoked over towards CT, so no chance to play his impact early. He's going to have to wait for everyone else to join up with him now. Device owns this angle. HooXi is lining up a flash, but it's got to be good.
Oh.
It blinds Device, and it doesn't matter. He doesn't need vision. He does it on feeling, does Device.
And they've got to save.
And that's a done deal.
Unless...
Sure, the one kill from Nico makes it an even odds bout, but so much time has elapsed. Too much time has elapsed. And even though HooXi knocks out another, it doesn't matter. G2 are not going for this. They didn't have the time. That one kill from Device, surgical in precision through the temple, makes all the difference. It just writes that retake off. You never even have to worry about it.
Yeah, Device wins that round, right? It's not just the entry onto Hunter, but the first kill and the retake as well. Team hopefully here to showcase that in Cologne, the start of a new season. Pistol round, Nico looks for that pick, but Bomb immediately smokes him off. And so G2, whatever they had planned is now denied. Even that smoke lands. They can redo it, they can give it another go. Hunter has a second, but the flank is in, and Device has already executed that man, dropping his bounty on the ground. There's HooXi around the corner. Device caught on a reload, might get bailed out, or at least traded by Stair. Astralis can reset. They've already caused a ruckus in this round, a 4-on-3, where G2 are quaking at their boots.
Yeah, every bone in your body is almost telling you that you need to try and pressure this deep mid player before he gets away, and so JKS will do exactly that. It's traded back by blameF, who takes it one step further, nails them from the cubby. The bomb now loose in middle, and Nico left in this one all alone. Now, he's been a little quiet in this game, has Nico. Hasn't really been in a position where he's had to stand and deliver, but this is that moment. One kill on his way to the 1v3 already. And Astralis, the chills set in now. You just fall back, you play around the bomb, you try set up the crossfire, you do everything in your power to stop Nico getting these 1v1s.
He just doesn't have a lot of time to be walking this right now. They can reset, they can run away once they see him and realize that he has to take the bomb A. They're already splitting up. This is a perfect call for Astralis. Nico needs kills, and they're not even going to be offered. This one is unwinnable for Nico. Even if he finds Blame, and he won't do that. 3 kills for blameF. The captain stands tall, and Astralis steals the pistol. There's nothing more frustrating than that. G2 coming in with, you know, ready to re-execute the A site, ready with a get-out plan if it doesn't go their way. And not only does Device flank T-spawn, but then Astralis mid-push, and they just throw the entire plan into disarray. G2 don't even get to show us what they wanted, and Blame, beautiful shooting on that USP.
And it feels like, you know, that's got to be some of the prep they've done here, right? The idea that, oh, well, if there isn't a lot of noise being made over towards the lane, if there isn't that early util, that early presence there, then it's probably their A pistol. And so you just see Device legging it all the way through spawn. Not every day you see the pistol round on Ancient play out where the first fight is from the B player flanking T-spawn.
Yeah. Ooh. Nico trying to get back into this game with a 1D up B. He gets dinked. There's only one rifle in this round. It is on Mr. F.
See, that's actually the fight you're kind of hoping for when you're boosted with the Deagle, right? You almost want someone to get flashed in from long. And they don't get the opener. If they did, suddenly there's wind in their sails. There's a lot, you know, to kind of back up this this opening. Instead, now Astralis know that players were boosted, know that players are ramped, know that G2 are looking for their picks here, and so the flashes are dodged. There's 3 players inside of the site. Astralis have got the read, they've got it on lockdown. Bomb gets away from G2, and this one looks to be around. They forget about Nico's Deagle, and Hooksy on the Tech 9. Hang on a second. They'll find a killer piece. The backstab looks to put Hooksy in a box, and it will deal with him. Nico is overran. And so Astralis, they dust themselves off. They get composed once it gets down to the 2v2. And thanks to that flank, applying a bit of pressure, giving a bit of space over towards Borup at long, they're able to contain it.
Yeah, they don't get scared there. Astralis would have been easy to be too passive there and let G2 get in the site, get a bomb plant, but very quick flank timing, and they play off each other nicely. It's cool that we have, you know, a national team here in the sense of how many Counter-Strike rosters are international right now. You know, this game is so European-centric at the moment, and it's rare we see, you know, competitive teams all hailing from one country. Denmark, obviously, one of the few that has just so much talent. We have Heroic right there at the top. But still, outside of Denmark, it's often a rarity. Stare. Keeping things clean on the B side. They have full lane yet again. Oh my goodness. Blame, he goes hunting for the pistol, but it bites back. Still worth keeping this boost here. Nico's got some idea. Oh, can he see? Yeah. Oh, Borup in danger. Astralis don't need to push the boat out with this one. They've already burned almost all of their utility. G2 are just trying to waste time as they group back for an A hit. I
hope we can see Nico like just look more comfortable. I'll say that, like thus far when we're kind of watching him play, the little moments, these little tiny differences that sometimes would get him that like impossible shot that opens up around the shot over the lip of the smoke. He's not quite been finding them. The rhythm's just a little off. So I hope that we can get a Nico that builds into this series, because he is such a key piece of the puzzle to G2. It goes without saying. Device just playing the long con and waiting in at the back of the site. He'll farm them up. And even though Nico adds 1 to the tally, he's got to do so much more. End of the line as Buzz swings him wide. And so Astralis stick the landing on these conversions. They now tie this game up at 9-all as G2 bring out the guns for the first time.
Exciting precedent being set. Astralis being very aggressive in their pistol and anti-ecos, taking B lane in all of these rounds. Obviously, imagine a bit of a change of pace here. They started their T side by attempting mid-takes, and Hunter did such a great job of denying that. Will G2 go back to what is quite a standard on this T side? Hunter looks interested, selling it by himself. G2 go very quick up the lane as well. Blame on an off angle catches his, but continued aggression from Stare as he gets flashed through on the cave and takes another opener, trying to take the AK, lost in the smoke. Nico will not forget, nor forgive. And that's such an important kill. Without that, this round is dead in the water. Now G2, they have their foot in the door.
Yeah, considering how chaotic that was over towards the lane with the flashes being rained over from Borup, who was throwing some gnarly lineups there to kind of tee up Stare for those fights, combined with, you know, dancing around the smoke. They do well to contain it, minimizing the damage that this wild push into the lane it does for Astralis. G2 now look to group, and they've left it quiet for long enough that Astralis still have to consider everything here in this 4-on-3. I'll keep the defense split 2-2 with Blame F just keeping a watchful eye of that cross to Red Room.
But this is a G2 round to win. I mean, they're going to get dry fights into B with AKs. These are the rounds G2 are made for.
Honestly, up through the ramp, and NiKo trying to gain entry into the cave. 50-50 angle, and he'll choose wrong. Here's a flash teed up out of Device, and that allows Buzz a very easy path. Him and Borup lock down B between the two of them, and they'll repel that G2 offensive. You know, even though, because you talk about the dry fights up through ramp, it was true. The players in B were all out of their util, but that's where these guys that had been leaning over towards that A site, who hadn't been pressured in the round yet. BlameF still at a full belt. Device still had some util left on him. He rotates over, he tees them up, makes those fights very easy, very comfortable for the site players. This is a convincing start to this second half out of Astralis.
And once again, G2 need a hero in a round with very little to work with. Certainly so many chances they're going to give NiKo's Deagle. Stair can smoke this off as well. They'll double swing it. There's a shot there, but NiKo can't connect anything. Bombs coming back in through T-Spawn. G2 look like they want to end B in this round. They've got just enough for a full execute. Nice on a back B boost. Should be good for an opening kill here as G2 line up the exec util. Is m0NESY going to get on his head there? Smokes in, Device with his shot, and G2 run up the ramp.
And now you feel like, you know, your thoughts about how this round was going to pan out are correct. If you're Astralis, they had so many bodies ready to reinforce B. When you see that first man around the corner at ramp, you're kind of rubbing your hands together. You're smiling to yourself. Oh, we read them like a book again, didn't we? Astralis really picking up some steam now, really picking up some momentum in this second half. G2 yet to win a round. Now this was, you know, similar to how Astralis' first half started. It took a couple of rounds to find that footing, to problem solve, to shut down some of these avenues.
And while we're here, you want a horrible stat to contextualize the current form of G2?
Go on.
Other than Cloud9, G2 have not beaten a top 10 team in a BO1 or a BO3 since in terms of converting it. You know, they've been great gatekeepers, but this team is not a gatekeeper team, Harry. This is a team built and succeeding with championships in their pocket. World Finals at the end of last year, Katowice at the start here. Names that should have trophies in their walls, but 2023 for G2 has been very poor since Katowice. And we were hoping, I mean, I was reinvigorated with confidence after that first half. I'm starting to lose it now. Astralis are taking the mantle. G2 going for a rush. The timing's off, though. Stairs caught completely off guard, and NiKo finally has had enough. Double entry into B. He heard us talking smack.
Yeah, I think he's hit that point where he's realized, you know, this is where I need to have my round. I need to have my impact, and so he plays it a lot looser. He's got full faith in his ability just coming up ramp with his team behind him. He knows that if he gets that kill that tips the scales in their favor on the exec, then the round is G2's. And so what a great time to have NiKo dig deep and do that single-handedly, you know, puts a round on the board, closes this gap between them and Astralis, and but I think most importantly just regains you a bit of presence in this game, because since you've gotten into the second half, it's been a sea of Astralis wins with nothing in it for G2. So a much needed, you know, reset to that momentum.
Yeah.
And a new thing to worry about if you're Astralis as well, right? You haven't really had to contest with anyone looking to go on these wild pushes through smokes. Nature of what you're waiting for, what you're anticipating in these rounds.
Yeah, just solid util. It's nothing too flashy other than the entries, right? It's just the molly that forces a reposition, and then that's the first domino. Borup, if he wants to win the round, he has to go through the smoke and at least kill one, or G2 are going to have 5 players in a post plant. Great pathing for m0NESY, best mid spawn, and takes that quick pick up top mid. Things are changing for G2, so you hope. A man up, and they go back to B through the spawn, leaving Hunter to lurk. Undecided, unconfirmed for now.
Something that's a little awkward is they wasted one of these smokes over in middle, right? And that's going to leave them with just one smoke grenade on HooXi for the remainder of the round.
Got to use it wisely.
So that's got to be saved when they eventually decide where this play ends up. And with everyone else, you know, including this bomb kind of leaning back towards A, it feels like it's going to be the A play. You saw Astralis trying to take mid. You know you've stifled that.
Bob just eats the flash and doesn't even bite. So unconvinced by that mid play. NiKo's still lurking outside of B. Reliant on his team to actually get into this bomb site right now. Astralis, they're starting to figure it out. They're starting to get curious. They're clearing the B lane. That will free up Device to be in Temple just as G2 set up in A main. We might have this NiKo bomb fight, but ultimately it won't matter as much as this A hit.
Yeah, and because they only had one smoke here, you had to pick an angle. You can't deal with all of them, even though NiKo gets this kill with some time left. Hang on,
they have to go now. Go now.
They've got a full run. They've got to run on this. Even slowing down for a second could cost them, and Monacy did.
Got to go through
Rooting
mid.
In through middle, yeah, it's the only option. And now Astralis, it all becomes clear. The lack of that smoke at CT gave them open sight lines. They know that it's not the A play anymore, so it's got to be B. It's got to be where NiKo resides. Can he hold the site long enough? NiKo's dead. Stare has destroyed G2 in this round. And Hunter, as he plugs in these digits, he's got to find his way in the 1v2. Device will not let him have it. That beautifully done for Astralis.
Absolute insanity for Stare. How does he find 3 kills? NiKo's hiding in the back of the bomb site the entire time, and he just swings out to help his team at the perfect time. It felt like every player was there within a second, and Stare eviscerates all 3. Sure, they get the bomb plant, but that was never going to happen. Trapped in on default with Device locking you in. Stare does the impossible.
Crazy.
That's why they picked this kid up.
Yeah, you know, that's why he was touted. It's, you know, the kind of big up-and-comer that everyone should be looking at in Denmark. Beautifully done.
My oh my.
3 different engagements, 3 different positions, one that you cannot be ready for, you cannot account for. You didn't know where NiKo went in amidst all that downtime over towards B. That is roaring.
Back in and responding after G2's first T round. NiKo running amok up towards middle. Makes it right past the cave smoke. Astralis threw a ramp door smoke from spawn, but they're not playing with it. Stare in the cave, it's Device holding ramp. Beckoning G2 in with these wallbangs. NiKo doesn't bite. Device swaps out as well, so where they expect the M4 up close in cave, it's now an AWP. And even a third rotation Device in a head-to-head. Monacy makes it look easy as usual. And Stare getting anchored in here as Buzz comes in for support.
They were trying to walk close top ramp, right? They almost wanted to try and take this ramp fight, and it was meant to be supplemented with that flashbang, but G2 are ready for it, and Buzz is overran, overwhelmed. B crumbles before your very eyes. And this one's G2's all damn day. Remaining Astralis players just far too far removed from this one. And yeah, Monacy catches Astralis at the perfect moment, right? When you see this on the replay, that's Device kind of walking the angle. He wants to take the sight line down it, right as his teammate, who's crept up close, looks to come around the angle, looks to come around the corner, but they never get there. They never get to the end destination. They're cut down in that little, you know, minute period in between.
If Device dies, you know, second or 2 later, his teammate's immediately going to swing. Guaranteed trade Monacy can re-peek with Buzz's flash, but Astralis is just bailing water out of the boat at that point. They get a reflash in, but JKS hits 2 crucial entry kills, and again G2 break their way into B. It's been both their rounds in this T side, their only way in, and at least it's done enough to finally put Astralis on pistols. Should not be justifying this buy round. Device, if he full ecos, he can get an AWP next. We have 2 guns for Astralis to play around with, and so G2's chance to level the playing field, make this 12-all.
Monacy had the spawn for this mid-fight again. This time falls a little shy of the opener. Just off the mark.
They've been keen to just throw themselves out cave here, but they've not got a flash to do it.
They've heard that. They know that Monacy's floating around. He is the only guy in middle. There is no one here to help him. This AWP could get dropped. And in a world where the AWP gets dropped over, suddenly this is all up in the air. Nico tried to move in and lend a helping hand, but he is deleted. And Monacy is fed to the wolves.
And they're going back. They know that all of B has been cleared. So even though it's not a stack right now, Astralis know everything that's going on. I like this call for G2 just because they might catch Astralis resetting and flanking. And that's where Buzz is found. It's one step back in what is a 3-on-5, but it should never have been this hard in the first place. Astralis have made this round interesting. Can they do any more? Borup's got something. Second kill. 2-on-4 for G2. Their whereabouts known by Astralis.
Yeah, you're already at the point in the round where, like, you're almost kicking yourself. You know, this should have been easy. If this was a rifle round, you would be looking to save it a round like this in a 2v4 with so little time left, so little room where you're boxed in. But because it was only pistols when you came in, and this is a round that you have to convert to tie this game up, G2 have to attempt this. They feel that way. They're looking for the room in middle. They know that Astralis have up and left, but that gives you a new problem. Now it's these fights later in the site when you get into a bomb site, when you're trying to get that bomb down.
As long as they don't overthink it, G2 have a bomb plant and they have smokes down and a winnable 2-on-4 right now. They just need to get a guaranteed plant in quick. HooXi will put it in. Everyone's here. Blame on the flank. Late backstab. 2 kits. It's not like Astralis are uncomfortable about playing retake, but they've given G2 the room. Will they regret it? Yeah, one and done is not enough here. You need multi-kills out of the surviving players, and Justin never fires a bullet. HooXi boxed in a corner, and Borup, even though the claws are out for HooXi, Borup will overwhelm him. Astralis go into that round with just 2 rifles, and they come out with it laughing all the way to the bank. These 2 new boys of Borup and Stair have won some seriously important rounds in this map. On T side, it was Borup especially getting some huge entries towards B. Stair with that lockdown on the CT side a couple of rounds ago, and now Borup puts on 3 as well in an eco round with 2 saved guns. This is supposed to be G2's chance to just level up. Now Astralis are trying to run away with their map pick after all and send us to Inferno with 1 in the pocket. A must-win buy for G2, or they'll be up pistols at 14-11. Hunter back over the smoke in mid. Blame is a lot more passive this time. G2 take cave with intent. But the bomb is still outside of A, so we're far from a commitment in this round.
This is some of the strongest map control G2 have had early, right? And that's something to go off of in this round. Now it's going to come down to this first fight, and Monacy, it's this awkward 50-50 angle. And once again, look to be fruitful for Astralis. Little ugly from Borup. Monacy not able to punish that swing out into the cave. They play through the molly. They play ahead of it. This is a very uncomfortable round for Stair. He is kind of in this no man's land in the site, so they try to tee him up with flashbangs. He's going to take the space back. Beautifully done from Stair. Creating something from nothing for Astralis. Doing it all. Just JKS left standing, but he's going to bring it down to a 1v1. Blame F, full HP, and all the reasons to win this round. All JKS has is this plant. Gonna back up, look to play around it. Ready for the cave swing, and even though he lands the tag, it's Blame F, the captain, with one hell of a celebration. He knows winning a round like that is so important. That crushes G2, that crushes them. They're going to have the plant, they're going to have another buy, but yet they're struggling to make ends meet now, Hugo. Yeah, Stair, again, another 3K on the B-bomb site. That pushed through before the flash. He hunts Monacy on the AWP, and then he goes back in for more with a flashbang. That's such a ballsy play for Stair. This guy is not scared of G2 right now. And the results are speaking for themselves. More and more clutch rounds coming through for Astralis. Another 1v1. And the energy is definitely good on the Danish side. Wipe off that spit. 14-11. G2's desperate buy. Full AKs, lacking util, no AWP. And really the only rounds they've had on these T sides are 2, little B pops through smokes with a couple of well-placed here. If this map gets away from them, damn, we just needed to win 1 or 2 of those clutch rounds. You got to wonder, why is it coming down to that? Why are those the big swing ones? In a lot of Astralis' T-side, the rounds they found were pretty damn clean. In the same way that G2's only real rounds have stemmed
like
from
that.
Nico going mad through smokes, this one starts off that way. Huxi will get sniped down mid. Hunter, no.
You couldn't see him.
Your stomach sinks at that. You've just let him get away. You've just let him get away. That goes unpunished. And so that advantage that Nico worked for, that advantage that Nico squeaked out, even though you were ready for the mid push, you don't catch it to maintain this man advantage.
Nico's got to be making it cool right now. Like, get to me. You've got to play around my position. I'm so deep in the site. They know about me, but he hears that ramp flash, and that should alert G2 that Astralis have gone for ramp info. Borup's leaning back to go gamble A. Blame gets that timing check onto Hunter, who's had a pretty hard half here despite his first looking so good. 4 on 3. Borup keeps his eyes back on that B bomb site, and he's got Blame by his side. Good flash.
On this T-side, Nico's been the guy to find rounds for G2, and this one's got to be no exception, right? He started the round off taking space at B. If he can box them in a little bit along, if he can force a bit of respect on this retake, that would mean the world to G2. It's m0NESY to find it, and Nico follows up with a gnarly tap. Can't go any further, however. And now it is left onto m0NESY. Doesn't have the big green. He would love it right now. And they've heard these steps. They know he's out at long. Now it's a bit of a mind game. Bomb not planted for m0NESY. Nearly catches Blame crossing in. But m0NESY has got to push up. He's got to close the gap. And in doing so, he plays right into the hands of Buzz.
That is Blame playing the numbers as he does, right? Even though his style has been under critique for years. That is such a risky move. Realizing I have the kit. m0NESY is out of position. I know where he is, and if I make it to default, I win the round because Buzz just has that guaranteed cover. He jumps, he almost gets picked out of the air, but Blame just sticks it in the middle in front of m0NESY. That one hurts. And the numbers, they're all coming up Astralis right now. 4 shots to close this out, I have no doubt.
Yeah, the Des touted this as a battle of individuals versus a team, you know, and they said that that's how Astralis are going to have to win, and that is exactly how Astralis are winning this.
4-1 on opening duels for Nico. I mean, he's found another in this T side. He has been so good at finding 5v4s, but more often than not, G2 can't convert them. We're going to go for an A execute now, but Astralis is just so stacked.
Okay, this time, thankfully, they have the util, and actually, they're kind of doing, it's almost like this Mao's pistol strat where they throw a donut smoke over that lands mid-side donut. So that's the post plant, but will they ever get there? Well, the bomb's now going back. They're switching this up on the fly, faking out the A hit. Bomb returning to join up with Nico over here at B. Him and Hunter have walked right on through, and Stare is not aware of this. The timings are everything here. How quickly do they learn about the long play? Borup ready for 1, not ready for 2. And it's Hunter who digs the grave of Astralis in this round. Device looks to close the net, make it a little closer. Gets spotted from the site onto the AWP now. Gonna have to try and slice it and dice a way back into this for Astralis. Gotta be surgical with the AWP, and they swing him together. They count it down, and Device's death certificate is signed. G2, they've done this one. They've done enough to walk it in. It's the family affair of Nico and Hunter going for that double B push that really throws Astralis for a loop. They've been used to seeing Nico taking space, getting away with room over towards B. They weren't ready for a second man to be with him.
You can't say you're not worried about getting collatted when you go for that 3-2-1 swing on long. Luckily for them, Device just pulled the pistol back out and it wasn't ready to fire. But that could have gone very wrong for G2. Great entries for Hunter. Like I said last round, I mean, he had 18 kills first half. He's just found as many kills in that round as he has in the entirety of the T side so far. So big 3K. The side-by-side walk into B for him and Nico. Even though Astralis consider that possibility, it comes through too late. Nice eighth.
Streaking them together since getting onto the second half. This is where the pressure is at its highest. This is the round that decides if you're going to have an easy path to just winning this map before it even becomes a problem. Hunter going to try get out middle again. It's been a fruitful fight for G2 for the most part. And this one's no exception. Buzz on the receiving end of that opening.
Just some really loose openings for G2. It's not like they're setting them up with flashbangs. They're not super convoluted. It's not even really m0NESY going for picks, you know. Hunter running through mid-smoke. Nico going up ramp. Nico chasing cave. But they've continued to get 5-on-4s for G2 and untraded at that. G2 just stay grouped. Keep that trade potential. They move back to B. Device is here, though. Hooksy might be in a world of hurt if he tries to cross. Great molly, though. Ticks onto Device. Forces that repos. He wants to go back for more. Ooh, they're making this very punishing for Device, knowing what he would do if he had an AWP, what his best options are on the most likely site that G2 set their eyes on.
Yeah, it's forced him into this kind of awkward angle. He has support nearby.
It's a donut pick.
But the bomb's still coming back B, going into the Astralis stack, and there's not really enough time left to change your mind on this. Device wins that first one, and now can re-smoke the cave. Stair can hold that. That frees up Device to go and play for this ramp fight. G2 are going to try and change this one. Oh, the bomb's going all the way back through spawn. I really don't know if there's time for this, JKS. I don't know, Justin. He's got to have his trainers on. He's got to be running as fast as he can.
Yeah.
This will be a buzzer beater of a round if G2 want to do it.
It's lost. There's nothing you can do. 20 seconds on a B rotate.
They can't do it. They can't do it. They've lost it.